Has this ever happened to you? You're living in the South at the height of the Great Depression, and all you and your brother can talk about is that weird, wacky neighbor of yours. Meanwhile, your dad is hot. Really hot. Because he's a Southern lawyer defending his client for a crime that he didn't commit, but is accused of because of racism. Well, we've all been there, which is why today I want to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this Magic the Gathering deck wins by being a Southern lawyer. And of course, I know what you're thinking. This deck's gonna be expensive, legal fees and lawyers and whatnot, but let's be real. In this economy, no way. I would have to shoot the piggy bank and that would not be good. So this entire deck is gonna be done pro bono, because I want it to be affordable for you too. Little play on words there. But seriously, you can pick up this entire deck for under $40. That's right. Now, before we dive in too deep, if you can't already tell, I'm the most unhinged deck builder on the internet. So if you've got a weird, wacky, silly, goofy idea for a commander deck, hey, challenge me in the comments down below. The one with the most votes, I legally have to build. And also, while you're down there, hey, leave a like and subscribe. I appreciate it. Now wake up! It's time for the video, because I know what you're thinking. Obviously, it's a lawyer deck. We're going to run stuff like rule of law, right? Obviously, fun stuff like that, and lock our opponents out of the game. No, none of that. That's not fun at all. But what is fun is doing exactly like courts do and make a lot of deals, because that's what 98% of criminal cases end up being, deals. Now you're scratching your chin thinking, how are we going to make this in the lovely game of Magic the Gathering? Well, let's start with our commander, the second Doctor. 2 white-blue, he's a 2/4, players have no max hand size. This dude is very civil. Literally, it says it on his little text box. At the beginning of your end step, each player may draw a card. Each opponent who does can't attack you or permanents you control during their next turn. Very nice, especially with our partner commander, Vissler Turlo. He's less civil, but he's fun. We don't ever really have to cast him, but he's really good and he gives us the right color identity that we want. Now, I spent hours in the lab researching, building this deck over a period of many days, and in my research, I have found that the optimal way to play this deck is by using a lawyer voice, specifically a Southern lawyer voice, Atticus Finch style, which I will now be emulating for the rest of the video. You're welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present you our case. We're going to first start off with some of our key cards, like Orzhov Advocist. 2 and a white for a 1/4. On the beginning of our upkeep step, each player may put 2+1/+1s on a creature they control. If they do, they must show us some mercy and cannot attack us or planeswalkers we control until our next turn. We also have a very similar fella, Nils, and he is less good because we have to pay X, which is not as optimal, but he still works as well, giving us +1/+1 counters. Now we've also got Socrates, Athenian teacher, 1 white-blue for a 0/4. Hexproof. Basically, the best way to do this is Socratic dialogue as a combat fog, making a creature prevent that damage, and then that controller and that player each draw half that many cards. So if someone attacks us, we can fog them and draw some cards, or we can use this democratically and pass around that card draw if we must. Now, Willie Lumpkin is, of course, one of my favorite clients here. We have white-blue, 1/3, can't be blocked, does card draw, and we can offer our opponent some card draw in exchange for some mercy. Part 2, again, they cannot attack us or permanents we control during their next turn. There's a lot of overlap with this ability. They are going to be heavily incentivized to not hurt us ever. Now we've also got Black Widow, Intel Expert, 2 and a white. When Black Widow deals combat damage to a player, each player draws 2 cards. That player and us. That gives us 2 cards. That gives them 2 cards. Fair is fair, Your Honor. Now we've also got Yume, Chronicler of Valor. This is 1 and a white. Now this card's a little new. It's a little crazy. It doesn't have a price on it quite yet, but it's very fun. The first spell you cast during each of your turns has assist. You can have someone pay for you a little bit. Go get your bond market out there. Help me out with this mana spell, please. And if they help you out, you get to draw a card, and so do they. Now, they don't have to pay all the mana cost, but it is very implied that they help you out heavily. Now we've also got Brina the Demagogue. Everyone knows what this one does. If they help you out by hitting someone with more life than your other opponents, they draw a card, and we put 2+1/+1s on a creature we control. The fair is fair, Your Honor. That's just how the contracts go. And there's more to the strategy, of course, because just like pregnant women, it's all about the contracts, ladies and gentlemen. So we got Scriv the Obligator, 2 white-black. This guy enters or attacks. We're going to make a little contract. Now, they don't have to attack us, but they are heavily incentivized to attack not us. It's encouraged. because if they attack us, that controller is losing 2 life, and that's not fun. But it does make it stronger for when they attack our opponents, Your Honor, and that is quite fun as well. Now, Geth, Thane of Contracts, is 1 black. He's a 3/4. Makes our guys a little weaker, so save him until you have something in your discard pile, and then you can reanimate something, perhaps a little Scriv the Obligator, because then if you have Thane of Contracts resurrecting Scriv the Obligator, we've got a little bit of a condom situation. It's a contractception, if you know what I'm saying, Your Honor. Also, Immortal Obligation is great. It's 1 and a white. Basically, how bad do you want that creature resurrected from your graveyard, Your Honor? Because now it's goaded, it has a duty counter on it, it can't attack us or permanents we control, and it can't block. So it's just doing our dirty work for us. Now, that card is especially good right after hitting a nice promise of loyalty. 4 and a white, each player puts a vow counter and says, I'm sorry, these are all the people that I want, because we're going to sacrifice the rest of them and wipe the board. And then everything with the vow counters on it can't attack us for the rest of the game. Very nice. As long as you've got that vow counter on it, of course, Your Honor, of course. Now, of course, not everyone is fond of board wipes, so we can be a little more friendly with a tenuous truce. 1 and a white, we basically enter into a social contract with one of our opponents, and on their end step, if they haven't attacked us and blown up the tenuous truce, we both get to draw a card. Very nice. But what if our opponents need some alternate methods in order to incentivize them? Well, we've got Guafa Hazid Profiteer on the stand here. 1 white-blue. We put a little bit of bribery on our opponent's creatures. They draw a card, and those creatures cannot attack or block. They become pacifists. If only it was that easy in real life. But what if our opponents like to get a little rough and tumble like boys do? Well, we got Combat Calligrapher. 3 and a white. Basically, we're going to be bribing our opponents with Inklings. If they attack one of our opponents, they're going to make a little 2/1 flying fella, and that flying fella can't attack us. And that's all we want. As long as it's not coming at us, boys will be boys. After all, you fight each other how you want. Now, what if your opponents are some angry men? Well, we can always have them play a little sadistic shell game and have each opponent choose creatures we don't control according to a jury of their peers, because then them creatures are destroyed. But they were all selected by the jury of their peers, which means it's democracy manifest. Now, of course, I am heavily opposed to the death sentence and the death penalty, but sometimes a Magic player needs to die and be put into the electric chair. So we've got the Faithbound Judge. 1 white, don't matter what he do, because we can disturb him, Your Honor, and bring him back for sentencing. With Sinner's Judgment. If someone is a sinner, we give them 3 days and then they die. Because on the beginning of our upkeep, we're going to judge them, and if they get judged 3 or more times, that enchanted player loses the game, shuffles up, and goes on to the afterlife. Now, of course, that's not the only way we plan on winning. That's just a worst-case scenario. Because in other ways, if they don't want to cut a deal with us, whether they are unappreciative of the card draw, slanderous of our methods, or just plain hurtful attacking us, we've got some fun ways to win. Allow me to introduce the gentleman of the jury, the Insanity Plea, aka Psychosis Crawler, because everyone knows pleading insanity is the quickest way to win your crime. Now, 5 mana, whenever we draw a card, each opponent loses a life. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty good. We've also got Price of Knowledge. It's 7 mana, bit expensive, but basically is insane. Look at this guy. His eyeballs are missing. What a fella. I would hate to be him. He got bloody fingers. That's always bad. And he does damage equal to the number of cards in that player's hands to our opponents on their upkeep. And if they be drawing cards like they hopefully should, they're going to be taking some damage, which can let us chip in and win very slowly. Now, I considered running cards like Fate Unraveler, Scrawling Crawler, or even Shield Dread, the Apocalypse, but to be honest, they are hella expensive. For some reason, Shield Dread's like 100, Scrawling Crawler's like 12, Fate Unraveler's like $3. I could not even afford Tempting Contract. It was too much money. Now, our opponents are going to do most of the dirty work themselves. We got Brina, obviously, incentivizing them to hit whoever's got the most life. That's not us. We got Combat Calligrapher, giving them some little tiny bird boys to hit each other with. Immortal Obligation, goading their big scary graveyard creature thing to not hit us. And Scriv the Obligator saying, hey, you get stronger if you are swinging somewhere else, my friend. Essentially turning our opponents into our public defenders. But in worst case scenario, we got Willie Lumpkin Postman, the GOAT of this deck, because he cannot be blocked, which means he is a great place to put all them +1/+1 counters from all of our lovely little loyal machines like Orzhov, Brina, Nils, and basically turning him into a giant bazooka that you cannot block, and he is going to kill you. Now, a quick summary for the ADHD. Basically, everything in this deck is going to give our opponent some card draw in exchange for protection from them and or sexual favors outside the game, but that's neither here nor there. Then they're going to fight each other because they can't attack us, and then we're going to swoop in on the last person with stuff like Vissler, who's going to drain them, or Keen Duelist, who's going to drain them, or Weisling, who's going to drain them, or Chasm Skulker, who's going to be absolutely massive and then explode into a bunch of 1/1s with Island Walk, and then we're going to beat them up with a bunch of 1/1s. Either way, we're going to Better Call Saul them because we're the best lawyer ever of all time, and this deck is awesome and really cheap because I didn't put in a bunch of expensive cards because it's really fun. That's the end of the video. So if you liked it, leave a like. If you subscribe, subscribe. If you want to support me, check out my Patreon, link down below. I build custom commander decks, and I roast them on my stream, Quipsandguac_ on Twitch. Follow me, please. Appreciate it. I've also got a bunch of sick playmats for sale on jakemats.com. Dude, they look so nice. Also got a Discord, fun and free and cool. What do you think? Do you like this deck? Do you think it's fun? I think this deck is awesome and is a great play experience. But if you have an idea for a commander deck that you want me to build or challenge me to something weird and wacky, leave it in the comments down below. I hope to see you in the next one. Peace out, y'all.